How do? My name's Terry Bush. I've just finished watching a programme you all must see. It's called The Last Waltz, and it's about basketballers and basketball ladies in the 90s, which is the heyday. It's called The Last Waltz. It's on the Netflix. It's 10 hours long. It's split up into programmes. It's 10. I just watched it, all of it, 10 hours through. I did. Fringe watching, it's called. It's just fantastic. It's about the heyday of proper basketball, you know. So it's mainly about the Chicago Bulls, but there's all sorts of teams mentioned in it. If you remember, there's the LA Clip-Ons, Utah Jazz, Detroit Pistols, Chicago Buccaneers, the Golden State Thunder Blasters, Celtic Busters, New York Kicks, LA Shakers, you know, Indiana Racers, all that lot. And it reminded me of my mate, Johnny Bridlington. Johnny Banjo he's called. He's called Johnny Banjo because he had an unfortunate sexual accident with a woman and something got torn. But he recovered, and it's funny that his nickname was Banjo, really, because he were actually a keyboardist. He were an expert in keyboardism, and he used to play at like funerals, circuses, ice hockey. You know that stuff where you go like dun 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 dun, you know, all that stuff, easy stuff. You know, it was beneath him really. He was, he was much better than that. But anyway, so word gets around that he's really good. He's a buster on this as a keyboardist. So he gets invited to go to the Chicago basketball stadium in Chicago, Illinois, Milwaukee, and that's where the Chicago Bulls play, because it's the Chicago basketball stadium in Illinois, Milwaukee. So anyway, he goes there and he's going to do a tryout, right, as a keyboardist for the games for the Chicago Bulls, and he's chuffed, he's really excited. He's took a few $100s with him and just a suitcase. You don't need much if you can't cart a keyboard around, can you? You know, he's only got one type of organ with him, and that would torn a little bit. Anyway, so he goes to the Chicago Basketball Illinois Stadium, and he's waiting, he's limbering up, whatever you do, I don't know what you do. He's limbering up, and he hears this noise, and it's all rowdy in there, you know, all shouting and way and stuff like that. And while he's waiting for this interview, this audition, I suppose it were, he goes through this door, because he wants to know where all this shouting and, raving's coming from. And he sees all these big fellas, they're all tall, aren't they, basketballers, 6 foot odd, all of them, big lads, deep voices. And he goes and he sees all this money on the floor. And what it is they're gambling. They're all there, Michael Jackson, Pippi Scotland's, Jenny Rodman, all the Chicago Bulls, and especially everyone knows Michael Hair Jackson, because he was just the biggest thing in town, wasn't it? Bigger all over the world than the Pope, maybe I should say that. And I saw Michael Hair Jackson. He was called Hair Jackson, but he had no hair. He had the hair of Errol Brown from Hot Chocolate. And when I say he had the hair of Errol Brown, I mean he had the no hair of Errol Brown. And anyway, so they're gambling. He sees this game and he likes a flutter. He's been known to, waste money and marriages on that. So he likes a flutter. He sees all this money in the world. They're playing this game. He'd never seen it before. And they're throwing a stone up in the air and seeing if they can catch it in a certain way. Don't know what it was called. And he gets into it. Anyway, he gets into this game and he gets deep in the hole. I think he ends up owing Michael Hair Jackson, hundreds of thousands of dollars, because they're competitive, isn't they? Sportsmen and sportswomen. Anyway, he misses his audition, misses his interview, and he's broke. And he owes Michael Jackson loads of money. So, next up, the Chicago Bulls are playing in Las Vegas, I think. They're playing the Las Vegas 5 Stars, I think. So, Michael Jackson, as a laugh, says, alright, you can pay the money off by carrying me bags and being me, my houseboy, my manservant for a bit. So he says, oh, he's got no choice. He thinks he's going to get duffed up. As I said, they're all big lads, all over 6 foot, really deep voices. And so he has to go to Vegas on this private plane. So when he gets there, he drops the bags off and he makes a bolt for it, runs away, and I'm surprised they couldn't catch him anyway, because they're quite leggy, athletes, they're known, but they perhaps didn't want to get, tuckered out before a big game. So he runs away, he ends up on the streets in Las Vegas, And he ends up in all sorts of, he ends up getting it torn again. He ends up in all sorts of trouble and gets involved with these gangsters. And because Las Vegas and Nevada, Milwaukee, that's known for having casinos and prostitutism and gamblism. So he gets into this, and he gets into it, and he says, "Oh, I'll play organ for free to work off my debt in the casino." And they say, well, you'd probably have to play for about 100,000 years to work off that debt. So instead of murdering him or making him work off the debt for the next 100,000 years, which is a bit tight, I think, what they do is they put his hand on the table, like in that film Casino, because they knew he needed his hands to make a buck. I mean, from the pianism, from the organism. And they put his hand on the table, because you need the dexterity, don't you? You need good dexterity to even play a guitar, let alone an organ. And, so they do what they do in Casino. So they put his hand on a table and they get a hammer, and then they smash his head in with it. And so what happens is, he forgets who he is. I mean, he forgets he can play the organ. He forgot his lessons, forgot his name. He forgot that you have to take your trousers off to have a poo. He forgot that you can't touch yourself on the bus or in the park or at a nativity play. And he also forgot that his mother couldn't breathe through a hospital pillow. So, it just goes to show, doesn't it? I don't know when it goes to show, but it goes to show something. And, if you get involved in gangsters, no use crying over spilt milk in a red sky at the morning. And I think we can all relate to that, can't we? So, slam dunk. Oh.